Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay, yeah, let's continue. So, good afternoon, all. Let's continue with the second part of first unit, that is data science processes. In the previous session, we have taken the overview of data science. We have taken the overview of the big data also. We have taken the overview of many systems which are present in the data science. We have seen applications also. We have seen different type of the data present in the data science. Today we'll see lot many processes involved in the data science. It may take again few two more lectures to do. Theoretically, we are seeing the first practical that we are having. It's based on this particular concept, actually, the data science processes. So what are the data science processes present, and what is the need necessary requirements of it? Generally, we call it as data manipulation, data transformation, data cleaning, and in general, we can call it as a name as data pre-processing. So many different requirements are there that data science process requirement. Data analytics is done with these particular methods. So that processes we are going to see here in this session. So two objectives are there: to understand the flow of data science process. Okay, so what data science process means, what's the flow of it, and discuss the steps present into the data science process. What are the steps are there, what are the common steps that we need to carry out to perform this operation of the data science. Now, what is data science process? Structured approach to data science help you to maximize your chances of success in the data science project at the lowest cost. One thing, we have talked about data yesterday, we have talked about information, we have talked about knowledge. Data is something which is raw data, collected. Anyone can collect the data, and not every data is useful. We have to make it useful. Remember, not every data is actually useful, or not every data is available in the format that we require. Maybe a different format is there, maybe a different structure is presented there, maybe a different source is there, maybe different mathematical concepts are used, maybe the data that we require is not present in that structure. So that case, that data will not be much useful. We have to make that data useful from our point of view. So we need to carry some processes to work on that. So also make it possible to take up a project as team, and with each team member focusing on what they do best. So data analyst, data scientist, they basically decide. It's a team of data analysts and data scientists to decide what operation you have to do. Then only the data will be extracted. Let's say one example. I'm having the information about a class, information about students in a class. So the student who are failed, okay, I want that information for the placement activity purpose. So if the students are failed, so they will not be used for activity purpose. I have to apply the criteria on that. I have to apply a process that if the student is having not having 80 or he is completely passed in all, then only I want to use that data. So data which is unused, I will discard it, and the data which is useful, that data only I will take. Okay, or in particular job I require only female candidate or only male candidate, so I'll go to the gender part and then retry only male and female candidate, and then data will be more useful from my point. If the data I want, I will take that data only. Or I want to do some mathematical operation on that data, but data is in string fashion. So string operation or string cannot be operated with the help of the statistical methods, mathematical methods. So what I do, I have to convert that data basically. So lot many different operations that are possible. So this approach may not be suitable for every type of project, but maybe only a way to do a good data science. So every data may require different kind of the processes to do. Means I am having a data and every time I want to clean the data, every time I want to transform the data, every time I want to do the encoding of the data. It's not the case. We need to understand the data first, and based on that understanding, we have to decide what operation you have to perform onto it. Okay, so that many small approaches are present in data science, and that's what we combine together and collaborate with a name called a data science processes. A typical data science process is consisting of 6 common steps. So we'll go in detail description of that 6 steps which are present inside the data science process. And once this part topic is over, we'll see the practical part of it, the practical number 1 that we are having in the syllabus, which is connected with the same topic of data science process. Okay, let's see. See, very big diagram is there. You can just zoom your screen and check it out. Data science process, 6 steps are there. We are going to check every mentioned step present in it. First is setting the research goal. Okay, setting up the research goal. Then second is retrieving data. Under that again 2 parts are there: external data and internal data. Second part. The third part is data preparation. Prepare the data. Under data preparation again we have 3 tasks: data cleaning, cleansing, data transformation, and combination of the data. 3 things are there. Again, the 4th step is data exploration. That's what we call as exploratory data analysis. Data explore the data. So under that again 4 steps are there. Then 5 number is data modeling. Create the data models, like applying the machine learning algorithms onto it. We can make use of it. Okay, so that's also we'll do with the help of data modeling. And then last step is data presentation and creating automated systems, automation. The 6th step present into the data science process. So depending upon the data, and the output that we expect, the processes can be different. So what are the processes? So let's go step by step. We'll start with 1, and the individual small steps which are present inside it, that also we'll go in detail. The steps. Let's take a summary of all. What exactly the meaning of every individual step is. The first is setting the research goal. The first step of this process is the setting of research goal. The main purpose here is to make sure all stakeholders understand that what, how, and why this project I am creating. That is very important to know. Why I am creating this project. Yes. Let's take a case study. Wait a minute. I'll show one small data set present here. Just a minute. And we'll talk about it. Can I use this data for any particular purpose? Yeah, let's see. See this data. I'll share this data with you. This data set is actually taken from a counselor. See, this data is taken from the counselor. See, very large data is there. Marriage counselor, actually, marriage counselor. See, total 50 questions are there. These questions are not completely given here, but 50 questions are there. Counselors asked different 50 questions to the couples. Okay, they have filed the case for the divorce. That's what a data set is carrying. They have filed the case for divorce, and the questions are given according to that particular person, whether male or female, has to give a rating to this particular question. See, particular questions before divorce, this particular data is taken. See, lot many are there for many different couples. Data is created. 50 questions are there, 54 I think. And when they are filing the divorce, that time the data was taken, and this is the last one, the BC column, which is created here. It is showing value of 0 and 1. 1 means the couple has taken the divorce, and 0 means the couple has not taken the divorce. Like this. Now I want to do the research onto it. I want to do research on it, and I want to create such a project that I will predict whether what is the possibility of divorce, or where you have to improve to avoid a divorce. Can I use it? Research goal. This is my data set is already present with me. I have created, I have taken it from one of the counselor. And then I want to build a data model. That model will decide me. That will on that model we will decide what action we have to take or what operation you have to perform. That's the research goal is. So setting up research goal is important. This is one example I just mentioned. Like a lot many such data sets are present. I'm having one more data set with me where we are having the information about the cars, mileage of the car, and along with that we have the data of different properties of that car, like what is carbon level, displacement, horsepower, weight, automatic or manual, how many gears are there. Like now by that data set I will have a research that can this parameter affect the mileage, and can I predict the mileage of that car if these values are given as input. Can I build such a model with that? That is my research goal. Correct. Or I'm having a data set about employees of different kind of companies, and I will use this data set to predict the future job trends. My research is future job trends and what is expected salary in that particular job trends. Can I predict? Yes, obviously. Research goal. I want to do many such kind of things. Stock market data, I can predict the stock price of particular company tomorrow or after 10 days. What is the effect of COVID-19 on this particular business? My research goal. I'll set up, but I'm having a data with me. So with the help of that data, the research goal can be set up. So clear idea should be present in the mind of the person who uses the data. What is your goal? Why do we use this respective data here? That is the first step that's presented here. Okay, so the main purpose here is to make sure all stakeholders understand what, how, and why the project is created. Data analytics project is present. The second phase is data retrieval. From where we have to get the data. So second phase is that you want to have a data available for analysis. So this step includes finding suitable data and getting access to data from the data owner. Maybe the owner is there, or the result data is in raw form, which probably needs polishing, transformation before it becomes usable. For example, I'm having my health condition. I will have some health reports with me, and accordingly I want to predict what are the chances of my body to get an heart attack in future, or what is the chances that I'll be having a diabetes in future, or what is the chances that I'm having cancer in future. So I require the data for that. So where can I get this data? Retrieval from health repositories will get, or from doctors, from pathologists we can get this data. Or I want to predict the rainfall of the next year in India, in Maharashtra. So I need the previous data. I need to retrieve that data from the meteorological department or any other ways, maybe. So that predictions or the analysis or to do with my research work, I need to quite that. That's like an example I mentioned, diverse prediction data set. So my research goal is that it's okay, fine. But where can I get this data? What is the source of data here? That's very important to know. Data retrieval will be done in that. So, and data can be any format. So, you will not tell I want data in this format only. No, see, if you are connect about IoT sensors are not an exact reading. They're having some encoded readings are there. And if you want to using that, if you want to use that encoded reading, you have to transform that into human readable format. Then only we can use it further. So retrieving data, many ways are there. We can directly put a questionnaire. We can have can directly contact the agencies, or we can have some freeware sources. We'll talk about that. We'll see some resources where the data can be taken. You can directly use this particular data in your code. Third step, sorry, preparation. So we have the raw data. It's time to prepare it. Prepare it from our project point of view. It includes transforming the data from raw data that's directly usable to our model. So to achieve this, we'll detect and correct different type of errors in the data. We'll combine the data. We will have data from different sources. We'll transform that data as per need requirements of your data science project. So if you successfully completed this step, you can progress for data visualization and the modeling. So this step is very, very important. Actually, many sub steps are present under data preparation, data transformation also. The fourth is exploratory data analysis. That is called data exploration. Identify the patterns present in data. Okay, pattern. What's a pattern is there? Can I identify? For example, sale different product sales. There is a multi-purpose store, and they used to sell different seasonal products. Okay, so you have to predict, or you have to plan the future needs from the customer's point of view. So we can make use of this data exploration. We can check when the umbrellas are in demand. February, January, they are in demand. So we can exploratory data analysis. So you can see a graph. So you can see in July or June there is an uprise in umbrellas. August also, September also. Then again down, down, and again almost nil. So next year, by doing this exploration, we can see, in June month we require umbrella. So purchase it in month of May itself. So by data exploration, we can find a pattern. We can find a groups also, within which group maximum number of elements are present. So we will decide what to do on data exploration. So the insights that you gain from this phase will enable you to start modeling. So we can see what exactly things are present. Based on that, we can model the data perfectly. What output you expect, that also will decide over here. You are expecting the output in categorical format or expecting the output in the continuous format. So based on that, your model can also be different. Remember that. Okay. The next step, that is data modeling. Okay, the fifth step is data modeling. So we'll get to main part, data modeling, model building or data modeling. This is now that you attempt to gain insights or to make the predictions stated in your project charter. What exactly output you want? So for that purpose, we build a model, data models. There are many models are present. For few of them called as regression model, some are called as classification model, some are called as clustering models. So we create that, and now it's time to bring out the heavy guns. But remember, research has taught us that often, but always, not always, combination of simple models tend to outperform one complicated model. So if you have done this phase right, you're almost done. Almost done means one more phase is there. That is, we have to present this data in front of the user or in front of the clients who will be using that particular project or using that particular data, application and representation of that presentation of it. The last step is this one. Last step is data science model is presenting your result and automating the analysis if needed. Automation required machine learning actually. Presentation is very important to know. So one goal of project is to change our process and or make better decisions. So what exactly rising, what needs, necessity, requirements are there from the customer's point of view, that also we can formulate with the data. Okay, based on that, better decision making can be done. Can we have a factory plant at that particular point, that particular city, this particular village? Can you predict it? What's the need, requirements are there? Accordingly, can you plan the product? Okay, some products are growing, some products are decreasing. So whether to shut down that particular factory or whether you have to change that factory to another product, that's are the decision making that we can do from the same. So you may still need to convince the business that you're finding that will indeed change the business process expected. Yes, this is what the output from the data analysis. So generally we term it as the another name, if you heard about it, it's called as BI, business intelligence. Business intelligence means using the data to improve your business processes and create a perfect decision making model out of it. That's what is present here. This is where you can shine in your influencer role. The importance step is more apparent in project on the strategic and tactical level. Decision of strategies for a company will be done by this particular method. Certain projects require you to perform the business process over and over again. So automating the project will save the time. Automating the project, that is what is important. Machine learning algorithm will do this task, automate the project. Means we will take the data accordingly, we'll find the insights of it and then perform the further decision making. Automations complete. Automation is created. So data is required to do. And finally, the presentation automation will be the goal that we have created, and accordingly we'll perform further things. Just like example I just mentioned, like Davos analysis. If you put that all question in software will tell you what is the possibility that you are having a Davos in future. Like that. So automation systems will be created with the help of these particular steps. So automation presentations, like all these 6 steps are there that we need to remember while using the data science applications effectively. Let's talk one by one. But before actually talking one by one more step I just want to make clear is that don't slave to this process. Don't be a slave to this process. Not compulsory that you have to follow the same thing. This is my experience. Practically, when you perform this operation, so it's not compulsory things are not there. Somewhere we require it, somewhere we don't require it. Somewhere it becomes compulsory, somewhere it's not compulsory to use it. Okay, so not every project will follow this blueprint because your process is subject to the preferences of data scientist, company, and the nature of project you work on. Nature of project also that you work on, that's also very important to know. For example, if I'm working on the recommender systems, recommendation I want to provide, okay, so all steps are not required. I will not require every kind of step present here. If data is perfectly available with me, no missing values are there, so I don't have to clean that data, so directly data is available with me. If the data is perfectly available in a tabular fashion with me in CSV file, so no pre-processing step required over there. Directly we can make use of it. So company's requirement, project's requirement, and the customer's requirement. Based on that, the steps that we have given are followed. Some companies may require you to follow a strict protocol, whereas others have more informal manner of working. Okay, some strict protocols are there. Somewhere strictly this process should be followed. Somewhere it may not be followed. So compulsion is not enforced by the data scientist or by the process designers basically, but we can, in general, we can have this process. It's not an algorithm. In algorithm, every step is compulsory. Okay, fine. We know that algorithm, every step is compulsory. Without that, a perfect output cannot be generated. Correct. But here, these steps are not compulsory. You choose it according to your data. So on that data, this step is required or not, that you have to decide. And that also I will show you step by step where what steps are required and whether they are mandatory or not mandatory. In general, you will need a structured approach when you work on a complex project or when any people resources are involved. Yes. That's why structural approach is for. Why structural approach is created? Because when the project is complex, a huge amount of complexity is involved in that time, we are making a systematic approach so that these complexities can be removed and systematically a perfect project of data science is created. That's why we require the systematic approach. So not every small project is there. This may be not required for every time. Starting with the first step, that is setting up the research goal. So all steps are given. Out of that, the first step that we are focused on, we have explored it now. So two things are present in the research goal: define the research goal and create the project charter. Two more steps are present under the data science process. Step number 1. So let's see this. What is the meaning of it? Goal and context of research. Essentially, the essential outcome is the research goal to state the purpose of your assignment in a clear and focused manner. Why we are creating this project? Why do we are using this particular data? Understand the business goals, context, critical project success. Any kind of information, like information about different kind of the car. For example, if an automobile company is there, and that automobile company is now it's manufacturing different kind of the cars, so we can have the sales report of all of these cars from last 5 years to 6 years, 10 years, like all. You can observe that whether there's a demand of that particular vehicle present, or is there any discrepancies are there, can be faults are there. I'm completely having with me. So whether we have to continue with this product or we have to make some changes in the product, or we have to discontinue the project completely. That's what your goal is. So you're deciding. The context of research is also defined, should be clear and should be focused. Why I am using this data. Understanding the business goal and context is critical for project success. So what I just told about business intelligence. Success of business is actually lies within the data. Remember why Google has made a success. We talked about Google already last session also. Why Google has achieved this particular success? Because they know that how this data is utilized better. How can I use the data? So they are completely working on data sale and purchase only. Not purchase, they're not purchasing, they're collecting it from our data. They are providing us freely and they're using our data for their research purpose, and their goal is clear. For example, their goal is to show you the advertisement. Okay, so they will use your data, they will use your search reports, they will use your interest. Okay, they will use your website that you regularly visit. Accordingly, they will know you, that who are you. Google knows everything. Remember, in a mobile phone also, whatever you're using Google, so Google knows you, and based on that, they are providing the advertisements to the Google website, Google's front page, and on different websites where the Google AdSense is actually used. So clear that they are already clear with that. That's why most of the Google projects are success. Continue asking questions and devising example until you grasp exact business expectations. Identify how your project fits in the bigger picture. Appreciate your research in going to change the business and understand how they will use your results. Like all, everything, goal point of view. What is your goal? What is the business goal? Accordingly, the parameters present in the data set or not. One term we generally call it as brainstorming. If you know that one, brainstorming is discussing with the ideas and adding plus minuses, putting some opposite, putting some similar kind of views, like all. That's what we call as the brainstorming. That is present here to set the goal and context of the research. If everything is there, then only we can use it. So it should be clear that I am using this data for this particular purpose. That is goal and context of it. And the second part in the first step is to create a project charter. Clients like to know upfront when they are paying for. So after you are having a good understanding of business problem, try to get formal agreement to the deliverables. All this information is best collected in a project charter. For significant project, this would be mandatory. So what your customers are looking for, how we are interacting with them, whether they are connected with your business very commonly, very regularly, or novel persons are there, like all this kind of information is there. So project charter requires a teamwork, and input covers at least the following points. Check it out. These are project chart, how your progress of the project will go in future for the data science. So first is clear research goal should be mentioned. A clear research goal, why we are using this data, what is the purpose, what is the goal of your project. Second, the project mission and context. Mission, why we are running this one, why you are running this, or what is your mission to complete your engineering. Basically, what is the purpose of academic institution, why they are set up it, what is the purpose of your organization. So mission, vision, that should be clear. So here also, data science project vision and mission is also should be clear. How you are going to perform your analysis, that's what project charter will contain. How you are going to perform analysis, what's the main part is present. So whenever any data science project is created, okay, in business application, this will create your mindset. Okay, how I'm performing with this particular operation well, perfect, and effectively. That's what resources we expect to use. What resources we expect to use means software resources, hardware resources, and human resources. What is your software requirement? Okay, do we have the trained employees or developers to work on this particular project? Do we have the trained employees or the developers to work on it? Like, or do we have the sufficient hardware to perform operations with this? Okay, do we have the software which you are working present in your organization, or the programming language skills are there, that's why required, they are present or not, like all these things are required to set up. That's how your resources you expect to use. Then proof that is an achievable project and proof of concepts. Achievable means feasibility, it is feasibility that we consider, feasibility of the project is identified. So whether it's feasible to work with the current environment, the given time, given developers, given software, a given data set. That's called a proof of concept. And deliverable and measure of success. Obviously, there are some measurements that are present in the project. We can measure that this project or this data is perfectly created, or this model is perfectly created. Like measurables of success is there. And finally, timeline. When, which type of project, which part of the project, how much percentage of the project should be completed. That is called as the timeline. Okay, so timeline is the last part which comes under project management. So your project charter will contain everything. So to set up the goal and how your data science project will flow, that things are mentioned inside the project charter. So that should be done prior. If you heard about the concept of software engineering, if you know that, maybe you know software development life cycle is there. What are the 4 5 steps that we carry? We start from design to the deployment. Perfect project plan created. It's very efficiently done. But in data science also, SDLC like structure is formed. It's essential, required there. So how do we are using a flow of your project and how you are achieving your final goal, that complete things start to end are present. They're available. So if everything is clear, then only we'll go for actual data operation. This is not really data operation. First is not having data operation. We are just setting up the goals, functionalities, why, how, when, what kind of questions, and their answers are identified by this particular method. Okay. The second step is retrieving the data. Okay, we got the setup, we know the research, we know why, what, when, how we are going to do it. But now let's go for data. Now onwards, the only first step is not connected with the data. For second step onwards, all the steps are connected with the data operations. Retrieval, preparation, exploration, modeling, and presentation, step by step. So let's go for the second step. Number 2, retrieving the data. So how do we retrieve the data? Let's see. Let's step. Retrieve the required data. Sometimes you need to go into the field and design a data collection process yourself. But most of the time, you won't be involved in this step. See, maybe I'm having automated already data collected with me. Okay. Or maybe someone has given the data set to me. Okay, this data we need to use. Maybe it's possible. You're not involved in that. So many companies will have already collected and stored data for you, and what they don't have can often be bought from the third parties. Maybe they don't have the data. Maybe we have collected from third party vendors. Maybe you have purchased it, or maybe you have collected by you. Okay, it's not the responsibility of the person who is working on projects. Most of the data is available, or maybe we are using some mechanisms to work it. So don't be afraid to look outside your organization for data, because more and more organizations are making even high quality data freely available for public and commercial use. So it's possible to work with that. I'll show some of the resources where the data can be taken. Your first act should be to access the relevance and quality of data that readily available in your company. Yes, data is available, but is it sufficient to work with this? Means the insights that required to build the model are present in that data set or not. That's also very important to remember here. Most companies have a program for maintaining key data. So much of the cleaning work is already done. Now today, see, from last several 5 to 6 years, companies have recognized the importance of the data. That's why they have set up a perfect infrastructure so that data will be exactly created what they want. So they have created the data correctly. The thing which are not required, they are discarding it. Okay, like it. So data stored in the companies are now created this setup, but still then if it is not data is available, then we have to look from other sources. Most companies have a common program for maintaining key data, like cleaning was already done there. This data can be stored in official data repositories such as databases. We are having internal database with us, and that database we can set your data. Like we are having structured databases like MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle SQL, MS SQL. That software can be chosen to store the data as a backend. So if you're having a project also, from that project also data will be taken, and in backend means a software program, we can store this data permanently. Data marts, data warehouses, data lakes. Now, many names are now today available in today's world. Data is so important. That's why data mart means where it's a location where we can purchase the data also. Data mart. Okay. We can have data warehouse where all kind of data is stored. Data lakes, again, just a advisory kind of thing from the data warehouse point of view. Data lakes are there. So they're maintained by a team of IT professionals. So the team of IT professionals who are working on the project So their responsibility is to collect that particular data. Once the data is collected, we can store in any of this format. Okay, so the data can be stored. So primary goal of database is data storage, while a data warehouse designed for reading and analyzing that particular data. So we'll be having some program to read the data, to analyze the data, to store the data, to maintain the data, or to facilitate this data, provide this particular data to the user or to the authenticated person basically. Okay, that's what the data stored in the company. Getting access to data is also a very difficult task. Consider about organization, common business organizations, that directly we can access the data. We will follow a systematic approach, systematic flow by which the data can be accessed. But if the data is confidential, sensitive, then what we'll do? Like I want to work on a health project, okay, and I want a data set. So remember, health data set is very not easily accessible because health information is it's very sensitive. We can use for some wrong purpose also. So we cannot directly have access to this particular data. So you have to follow systematic approach and lot many steps, lot many hurdles that you have to carry. Remember, so organization understand the value and sensitivity of data and often have policies in place so everyone has access to what they need and nothing more. Take an example of ERP system, enterprise resource planning. If you're having the ERP in your institute, you might be knowing that you cannot access the salary of your teachers. Data is present in ERP, but you are not having access of it. And if you demand, then also it will not be given to you. It will be given to only the person who are authorized to access that. Even they also can't see the information about their attendance. Maybe some are provided, but not all. They can't see how much fees the college has collected because this is not their authority. Data is present centrally, but who will see what kind of data is defined? So if you want to work on a project, sensitivity of data is required to consider here. So this policies translate into physical and digital barriers called as Chinese walls. Physical and digital barriers. So these walls are mandatory and well regulated for customer data in most of the countries. Walls are there. So data is present, but wall or a firewall we call in network terminology, which is very difficult to crack inside it. That's why identifying a data from company is also very difficult to know. So it's not a good reasons to imagine everybody in a credit card company having access to your spending habits, but you can't access the other credit cards information. It's getting access to data may be taking time and involve the company politics also. With many undefined forces are also present, just like I mentioned here, that will override your data accessing abilities there. Some data sources we'll talk about. See, if the data is not given to you, so let's see where can I get this data. So let's talk about the first repository, that is called as Kaggle. Check it out. So some resources I just given. If I want to work on how much Amazon rainforest is burned due to different kind of forest fires, so where can I get this data? Or I want to check the distribution of rain across in all the Indian states, where can I get this? I want to see the literacy of all the Indian states according to the genders, male and females. Where can I get this? I want to check how much kilometers of roads are built in India from last 5 to 6 years under another new government. So where can I get this data? Should have a source. We will not go to measure the length of the roads. Data stress is present. We need to get it. Or you can see population density of the different state of India also. Or I want to check the distance of the moon and sun, how they are changing from Earth. Like it's very complicated to know, but data is present there. Where can I get? Not many sources. This is the first source that we have, Kaggle. If you are familiar to that, Kaggle is Google's repository. Kaggle, see the website kaggle.com. Here we can get different kind of data. So I'll just go to data. See Kaggle. I just gave a login of my Google here. Okay, according to you have to create a profile and check it out. Lot many data set like COVID-19 world vaccination progress data set. Netflix movies, TV shows, HR analytics, job chain data scientist. See, or we will have COVID-19 open research data set, then credit card for detection, novel coronavirus 2019 data set, restaurant business ranking, credit card customers, company bankruptcy prediction, rains in Australia, or mobile price predictions, or video game ratings. Yes, COVID lot many are there. Again, economics, we have many more. There are US related data sets are there. Yeah, this is India. Indian literacy data, district wise, student performance in exam, red wine quality data sets, health related. Now see your Pfizer vaccine tweets data set, stock prediction data set, temperature change. I'll just go for that. See, stock prediction. All data sets are available here. If you want to work on a data science project, so this is very interesting to see, and very effective data sets are present over here. Just go to check, download. Yeah, it's downloading. Stroke prediction, yes, okay. Directly available. Yeah? It's a public repository actually that we can use. So I'm already having thousands of data set with me. Out of that, one will be there. Yeah, this is stock prediction. Same, and I'll open it. Yeah, see this one. So directly downloaded. So data can be retrieved from these sources also. See healthcare dataset stroke data.csv. It's a CSV file. Yeah, see this one. Stroke prediction. So check it out. Gender, age, hypertension is there or not, heart disease or not. Married is also great parameter. Work type, residence type, then glucose level, BMI, smoking status, and stroke. Whether that person has got a stroke or not. So we can have predictive analytics on this kind of data. That's what possible is there. Kaggle, top repository that we can use to download. Many data sets are there that we can use from here. Okay, so you can just note this particular link, kaggle.com, where data set can be downloaded. Even different exploratory, this is exploratory data analysis actually that we can do. And every project also we can find on the Kaggle. Okay, the second one. So that's what we have, UCI, machine learning repository. See. UCI, the link is this, archives.ics.uci.edu/ml/index.php. So here we have again the data sources where we can make use of them. Let's say, for example, here I have iris flower data set, very commonly used in data science. Iris flower, we have adult, wine quality, heart disease, see, breast cancer analysis, wine quality, bank marketing, car evaluation, human activity recognition, abalone, forest fires, student performance. Top data set, and many more are there. You can see different data sets are present here. If I want to download any one of them, just say wine quality data set. So I'll go click on that data folder. Even description of data can also be seen. For example, I want to check the quality of wines. So 3 wines are there, 0, 1, so 1, 2, and 3 that we can use from here. So check it, data center, and here wine.data. You can open it. It's a CSV file actually. Save. Direct downloading is no any kind of login is required for that. For Kaggle, login is required, but we can retrieve data from there also. So it's a CSV file, comma separated values are there in it. Wine qualities are there. So first column is wine quality, 1, 2, and 3 are there. Here 1, then 2, and then 3. This one. So we'll have this data. We can check it out and we can use this. This is one of the resource where we can get the data. Next is data.gov.in. Only data.gov is also there. It's for US government. This is Indian government data set. For example, if you want to work on a project from Indian government, any kind of, like I want to check the literacy rate, or I want to check some prediction of the highways built in India, or many more like health conditions, or like sanitary systems, or smart city applications. So we can use this data.gov.in. From here, data can be retrieved and we can use it. See, total this number of data sets are present, and these are the catalog. These are departments. Out of 87 central and 88 state departments are there where you can download data sets. You can check it. For example, I'll go to transport, and here see what we require, length of national highways. See, Oh, huh. Yes, this one. Check it out. Then go to data and so let's search national highway. Yeah, so I'll go to search that and directly here also I don't require any kind of login. Without login also I can get any kind of data from Indian government. Yeah, see this one. So check it out. So this is what we have plan wise addition to national highway length. Okay, or many more are there that we can take it from here or see state or UT wise expenditure incurred on national highway project from 2014-15 to 2017-18. Here also many more are there in data sets that you can see delayed national highways projects. If I go to this, yeah, you can see data set available in CSV format. Click on that. Academia non-commercial submit. So our login is not required actually. Directly you can download. See this plan wise addition to national highway length. Yeah, done. Okay, let's save it. Save. CSV file. So many of them are actually present in CSV file format. See, small, maybe more data sets are also present that we can see. So this is what we have structured data. Many of them are structured data actually. That if you see, yesterday we have seen the structured and unstructured data. So structured maximum data is structured format available. Even non-structured data also we can convert to structured format. That also we'll see in steps in data analytics, text analytics that will perform operations with that. So check it out, data.gov.in. If you want to check the information, .gov, this is US government data set is there that we can use. It's given in your book, which is from where syllabus is actually taken. Data.gov, US government data sets. Now many different questions are there that will have. I'll show common data repositories. So here over next is Quandl, QUANDL.com. Quandl financial and commerce related data set is present on Quandl.com that we can have. You need to create an account to download data from Quandl.com. Say this. World's most powerful data lives on Quandl. They are telling it. I don't know. Premier source for financial, economic, alternative data sets serving investment professional and many people that we can see. Lot many data sets are there. You can download from here also financial data sets. See? Python, R, Excel. What is this? JavaScript that we can use. So this is what we have Quandl. It's also one of the source of data that we can download. You just search for it. Login is required for that. Okay, and next is data.world. Yes, data.world. Eat, sleep, and drink data. That's what their logo is, or their motto is actually. So you can see COVID-19 data is present here. Analysis of that data, you can just use it here. Here also require a sign in or require login, so you can download data set directly. They are not selling data actually. Data is available there. Even you can also upload it. Machine learning algorithm can be applied. Data analytics, pre-processing tasks are there that can apply directly on this data. Data.world. So these are the repositories that we can use to download the data sets from, and many of them are authenticated. You just check it. If you go to this, you see an ML repository. They are given the source. Who is the owner of it? This owner is given here. Florina M. Edel Parvas, and when it was donated, who is donor? Mail ID is also given, and where the data is actually used. Their research papers are given here. See, research papers are given. On this, in this research papers, data was used, and how it is used, we have to read the research paper completely for that. Okay, these are the data sources. Data retrieve we can retrieve from, and after these are the standard one. Means public repositories are there, but if you want to focus on specific kind of data, so we have to use that website. Like let's say, for example, I want to check the Indian Premier League information, like all the matches, balls played, batsman information, bowlers information. Then we have to check original websites. For example, see, Crick Sheet. Okay, so Crick Sheet is a website where you can download information about the cricket. Cricket. Crick Sheet. Here, see this one. All are available in CSV format. All the matches, all club competitions, like all here you can see Indian Premier League. 816 matches are there. By year, we can see 2004, 2021. What a number of matches according to countries also. See, you can see Afghanistan has played 200 matches. That we can see. India 820. 2004 only this data is taken. See, all of them. Even by the team also information present. CSV downloads are there. See, you can see CSV downloads are there. You can download in CSV format all ball by ball information for all the matches, Indian Premier League or international matches, T20, ODI matches, test matches, everything is given in that. Special sites that we can use, and or for example, if you know the information of all the movies ever released in the world, their information is kept in one website. Yeah, it is IMDb, Internet Movie Database. There also data set of all the movies with all information is present, and data is in GBs actually. Text data, but it's in GBs. So see this one, IMDb. So also we can use to download the data sets in CSV format, but it's in GBs format. That's why information about the movies released in all the languages is mentioned there. And if you require their data set, that also we can use it from there. IMDb. That's it. Okay. So this is how the data, different sources are present that we can use to download the data sets. Along with that, few more are given. So generally, I use this repositories which I have shown over here. You can use others also. Check it out. This is mentioned here. Data.gov, the home of US government data, or we can have open-data.europa.eu. So European Commission's open data is there. I'll show you. That's the link. Dash data, sorry, europa.eu, access denied, sorry, or World Bank. Information again from World Bank datasets. Say, yeah, it's opening. World Bank's open data can download from this link. Okay. Fine. So again, just can check all these data catalogs presented here. Next is aiddata.org. Yes. International data sets that you can see, aiddata.org is also one of the website you can download the data sets with. Yeah, Research Lab, William and Mary, so many different data sets around the world can be downloaded by using aiddata. Fine. And one more, open.fda.gov. Actually, they are taken from US point of view, but the commonly used data sets which we are using, or many data scientists are using, which I just shown over here, like Kaggle, UCIML repository. This is data.gov.in. This is your Quandl and data.world, which are commonly used resources for all the data analytics, data science, data or machine learning kind of applications. We can use these data sets, open data sets that we can download. Even one more, freebase.org is also a website, freebase.org, that we can use to download data sets for. So many popular data sets are commonly available on many sites also. Even you can check for GitHub. GitHub is like, by knowing open source projects, we can see there, open source repositories are there. That, wait a minute, that we can download from the same location, Freebase, not opened. Oh, no, the website is closed, I think. Okay. So data sources that we can use to download, and then we can use this data for others. So retrieval is the main important phase, because if data is not available, then we can't do anything after that. Even we can set up your own system to retrieve the data, or if it is not present, then we can go to some public or private repositories where the data can be downloaded or that can be seen. Okay, remember, even some universities also created their repositories. Let me show you that one also. I think if it is there, I'll show you. Mhm. No, they're not present. Some university repositories also present. Okay, I have not bookmarked them. Okay, so you just can search for many European universities, US universities. They also create their own FTP server. From this data set can be downloaded. Even one more website I'll show you. Maybe if the torrents, okay, torrents are banned today, but there are some website that I can use here called as yeah, academic torrents is already a very great website where you can see many different kind of information about technical knowledge or any academic knowledge. So see, 65 TB register data available on that in torrent format. They are providing torrent format, so you might be knowing torrent file is that you have to download it, and by using a muTorrent or uTorrent, your BitTorrent, you can download the data sets. Here also many data sets are present. I'll just show you data set academic torrents. So yeah, yeah, see this one. See, this is Kinetics 400 dataset, or this is what we have, the CT scan for COVID-19 related findings are present here. Oxford Towns in the datasets, 50, 80 million tiny images, 100 images for Hubble Space Telescope. They call datasets are present. Leaf counting dataset, whale shark eye datasets. So you know, this also are publicly available. If I click on any one of that, like for example, if I click on this and if I download, this torrent file is present there, that we can download this torrent file, and see it's given there, torrent file, but size is very much big, 24 GB. It will take many days to complete. Fine. So these are the resources that we can prefer to retrieve the data, download it. Okay, remember. After that, we have to perform a quality testing of the data. Data that you are downloading, you are using is perfectly according to the quality expected or not. So expect to spend a good portion of your project time doing data correction, cleansing, and sometimes up to 80%. See, data retrieval, preparation, cleansing, which are shown, corrections is actually involved 80%. If you are if you want to perfectly create a model of your data, prediction modeling, or if you want to create a machine learning based modeling of your data, you have to spend 80% time in the data quality. If data is qualitative, then only perfect modeling is possible to create. The retrieval of data is the first step that you will inspect data in your data science process. Most of the errors you will encounter during the data gathering phase are easy to spot, but being too careless will make you spend many hours to solve data issues that could have been prevented during the data import. Yes. You will investigate the data during the import, data preparation, exploratory phases. The difference is in the goal and the depth of the investigation. It will change. So at the initial phase, retrieval phase itself, data quality should be checked. Okay, data is perfectly created, it's presently available with me. Can I use the data in my system? If everything is okay, then only perform operation of checking the data quality further. So that's why data quality checks are very commonly very important steps that we need to follow very commonly in our systems. Okay, so 80% steps are required. If data is not qualitative, then model building will not be correctly done and your project will fail. Remember. Okay, this is what we have, data retrieval. We retrieve the data from different sources, and accordingly we can use it further. Come with the most important phase. Actually, two most important phases are there, third and fourth. Third, data preparation, where many steps are there in it, and fourth is data exploration. Preparation, data we have to prepare as per your understanding, your knowledge, and then only we can proceed further to go with it. So you can check, observe that how many further steps are the data preparation. Data cleansing is there, then data transformation is there, then data combining data are present, and then we go for exploration. So data preparation and exploration, these are two again important phases present. Out of it, if you compare, 50% importance in the whole step is given to data preparation. So data preparation, let's talk about it and all the steps which are present inside it. Data preparation, so data received from a data retrieval phase is likely to be a diamond in the rough. Okay, diamond in the rough, like might be knowing, diamond is actually we have to get up the diamond. It's a rough diamond, raw diamonds are there, and from that raw diamond, original diamonds we have to carve. Okay, so task of converting raw diamond into carved diamond is the data preparation step. Your task is now to sanitize and prepare it for use in the modeling and reporting phase. Okay, so as per model require, as per the prediction system required, we have to prepare your data. We have to apply some transformation steps inside it. Okay, then only it's possible to work with the given data. So doing so is tremendously important because your model will perform better and you will lose less time trying to fix strange output. Trying to fix strange output. So let's just take an example. Like for example, I am working on an algorithm where temperature is necessary to be in centigrade format, but your data set is containing Fahrenheit format. Okay, and you generate the result like 80 degree, 90 degree. Okay, you're surprised that how 80 degree, 90 degree centigrade is possible. But after some analysis, you find that temperature is in Fahrenheit. But should be done first. So you have to prepare that. You have to convert Fahrenheit temperature into centigrade temperature. Then only will come to know about it. Same thing is there for gallon and liter. Data is in gallon and you return liter, or it's in miles. You require in kilometers. That's it. So that's what we require. This is some example I just mentioned. So we have to prepare the data as per the requirement of the data model. Model require data in numerical format, but I am having in string format. How it is possible to string format and numerical format, completely different. So we have to transform this. We have to prepare the data as per the needs of the data models. So it can be mentioned nearly enough times. Garbage in equals garbage out. Garbage in and garbage out. So your model needs the data in specific format. So data transformation will always come into play. Specific format only. Let's say in unstructured data also, when we are talking, I'm talking here and I just want to analyze what I'm talking about. So this data should be converted into structured format. So this is my data is unstructured data actually. I'm talking in some language, English. So unstructured data. So we have to analyze that. I require structured data. So I need to convert this structured data, unstructured data, and then I'll be using that in the project. Remember, so all these steps to prepare the data as per the requirement of data models, modeling step is taken here in data preparation steps. In data preparation, many sub steps are there. So out of it, one step is data cleansing, or we call data cleaning also. Data cleansing or data cleaning. Data cleansing is a sub process of data science that focuses on removing errors in your data. So your data become true and consistent representation of the process it originates from. Okay, by the true consistent representation, we imply that at least two types of error exist. Two types of errors. Errors, any kind. How data will contain error? Maybe errors are there. First type of error is called an interpretation error. And second error are called as inconsistencies. There's interpretation error, such as when we have take the value in your data for granted. Let's say person's age is greater than 300 years. Possible? Not, obviously. Marks of a student is in negative. Not possible. Zero are possible. But negative. Or I'm having 150 percentage given to a particular student. Height of the person is 20 feet. Is it possible? Interpretation errors are there. Or weight of your body is 90 degree centigrade. Not possible. Fahrenheit is okay. 90 degree not possible. So interpretation error is there. The data is present in that. Logically, is it correct? Yeah. If it is correct, then it's okay. If it is not there, it's an error. The second type of error point to inconsistencies between data sources or against your company's standardized values. you mention the standards of your company. Okay, you mention that, but that data is not according to the standards. Weight of your product should be 40 kg and manufactured is 65 kg. Is that correct? No. Inconsistencies are there. Your manufacturing process is completely working differently. One product is 40 kg, another 45 kg, another 35 kg, another 32 kg. Standards are not followed. So completely inconsistencies are there. Inconsistencies can be found or can be cleaned with the help of the data cleansing. So this step involved inconsistencies and implement interpretation errors removal inside the data. So when we have to look from the data, so we have to think from this point of view also. Check it out. Many different errors are possible in the data set. General solution: try to fix the problem early in the data acquisition phase or else fix in the program. Check out the errors and check out the solution. Why this error occurs and how what's solution onto it. Now, let's see errors pointing to false values within one data set, and second is errors pointing to the inconsistency between the data sets. First, error pointing to the false values within a data set. Let's see this one. Error can be like mistake during data entry. So let's say data entry operator is there. He is a person. He is human being. So he can make a fault, can make a mistake. So that data which is present in the system may be not perfectly added, or maybe it's empty, maybe it's something different. So manually we can change it. So for solution on it, manual or rules. Manual changes are possible. We can make use of it, or we can use some systematic approach also. Some data cleaning methods are there in programming or in general data science that also we can apply to clean this. Or second method, like error description, like we are having redundant white spaces. White space means space, new line, or the tab. That's called as the white space. So that white space may also lead to change the meaning of statement. Like for example, if you are given a space before or after the string, programming language considered as a string. So for example, space hello world and just hello world, they are different because space is the character there. They will not compare it, they will check it's wrong. So to remove that white spaces, we can have a solution that we can use a string function of like trimming. Trim the white spaces. Trim means strip and trim. Two methods are there. Strip is also present, trim is also present. Strip removes the starting and ending spaces. There are the string functions actually present in almost all the programming languages. We talk about Python and R. In both of these languages, string functions are present that we can use to remove the possible redundant white spaces from there. Or next, we have the impossible values. Impossible values. The temperature in one of the cities in Maharashtra is given as -10 degrees. Have you ever seen such temperature in southern part of India? No, not actually. -10 degree, -15 degrees are there, and that's not true. So manually we can check what's the limit that temperature carries, and we have to manually change the temperature to specific values there. So which are impossible values are there. We can use the manual. Then next we have missing values. That's very commonly occurred error in the code. Missing values are there. I am capturing the information from a sensor, for example, and there is a network error occurred. And because of network error, the data which are required to be added in second, 1 by 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, they are not added, and data is are kept empty. So data is empty. There are missing values present there because of network error, because of database error, or because of the human error also. There was making data entry that it's missed presented. So we can have multiple options on that. We can remove that observation completely, or we can predict what can be the possibility of value present there. For example, while taking the data of ages of your class, for example, the student who are there in your class, they are having ages from 19, 20, 21. Only 3 ages are there. 19, some students are 19 age, some are 20 age, some are 21 age, some are of 22 age, for example. 4 possibilities are there. And we have missed some value in between. We can have some simple prediction also. So possibility is that the one who has missed can have age of 19, 20, 21 or 22. There's no possibility that he will be of 35 or 45 ages. Not. So remove that and perfectly we can predict the values over there. Missing values can be done. The fifth one is outliers. Outliers. Outliers means someone who is away from the crowd. Let's say, for example, all the people, all the students in your class are having marks between 50% to 70%. Okay, minimum 50%, maximum 70%. And if one student has got marks 91%, so he is outlier. He does not follow the property of crowd. Outlier. Or all the students are having ages, as I told, 19 to 22, and one student is having age 36. So he is outlier. Does not follow the properties of the crowd, mentality of the crowd. So validate, and if error null, state it as a missing value, remove or insert. Generally, we remove the outliers. We'll take the methods also to removal of the outliers. Outliers also may change the result of your program. Remember, result of your program. You also change it. For example, average of 21, 22, 23, and 24 will be different. An average of 21, 22, 23, and 34 is different. Value will drastically change because 34 is the outlier in the sequence. That's why. So outlier should be detected and should be removed. How to? That also we'll talk about. So 4 possible errors which are within one data set is possible. And some errors are possible among multiple data sets also, between 2 data sets also. Like deviations from a code book. Deviations from a code book. I have extracted a data, but it is wrong. So matching a key or else use a manual overrules also possible. You can match it. I will talk about in detail also this. Then different unit of measurement. One data, I have combined 2 data sets. One data set I have taken from one class, another from another class. First class information are having the students marks in CGPA and second class is having percentages. I want to marks are same, is columns are same, they are given marks. Here also marks. But first marks is CGPA and second marks is in percentage. And if you apply your algorithm, all the students who got CGPA will fail because they are having less than 10%. So that's what the problem. Recalculations are required. Different unit of measurements are there. That's also possible. When you combine it, error will come. And the last, different level of aggregation. Bring some level of measurement by aggregation and extrapolate. Aggregation, aggregating the data. So first, I'm using different method of aggregation. Second, I'm using different method. Like for example, in first method, I'm finding the mean of the data, and second method, I'm finding median of the data. Mean and median, they are different. Maybe the array data in sequence, then they will be same. But if you're knowing mean and median, we'll talk about that in practical also. What is mean and median? So mean is different aggregate function, median is different aggregate function. Maybe the result can be same in some cases, but not always. There is in different aggregations. First method output different, second method output different, error. So use same level of measurement by aggregation or extrapolation. That's what the solution is possible. Let's talk about this description or this particular method in detail. How do we work with? See, one example of the error I've given. Check it out. So just as an a line, regression line is there, row number and distance. Okay, this row present and the distance is calculated here. I have plotted that a 2-dimensional plane. You can see that point which is shown in the round, which is shown in the circle there. This is an outlier. Can throw regression estimate. See this one. Line will change because of this particular point. This point we call as an outlier, which does not follow the properties of crowd. So crowd is here and he is here. That is what outliers are. So let's say step by step. First, data entry errors. Data collection and data entry errors are error prone processes. Obviously, human being or computer also having disconnection in the network, error will be present because of data entry. So they require the human intervention, and because human are only human, they make typos or lose their concentration for a second and introduce an error in the chain. That's we have to keep in mind. Okay. Yeah, because they are human being, and human being actually makes the errors. If you compare that with computer system, we also make the error very commonly. But the data collected by machines or computer isn't error free from errors either. This is free from errors either. Means, okay, if you compare that comparatively, computer can be better, having better accuracy. Human being will have less accuracy, but they are also having the errors. So errors can arise from human sloppiness, whereas due to machine or hardware failure also, obviously, may also occur. So example of error originating from the machine or transmission error or bugs in the method. There's a data processing method that we use called ETL: extract, transform, and load phase. That's data entry can be done: extract, transform, and then load. Extract is input, transform processed application that we can apply onto it, and load is save. These steps are there. In that, we are having the transform method where the data entry errors can be identified. Check it out. This is a simple frequency table I shown. Number of good, number of bad, and again you can check one more value is mentioned there. Godo means like I have given only two labels to the person. So one is good label, another bad label. But when I summarize that, I got that there is a label Godo also. Spelling mistake that they have done. And 15 entries are there which are having Godo. And one entry is there called as bad. Okay. Like, so I can summarize it. Frequency table will show you. Actually, it will show it's an outlier, 15 outlier, one outlier, not outlier. Godo is actually good. I need to add that 15 entry into good, and bad A also I have to add that one entry into bad. Then only good and bad, only two frequency counts can be seen easily. This is practical example actually. We have observed that for multiple number of times. So that being giving spelling mistakes. Because of spelling mistake, a separate class is created. That should not be done. So this was the first one. Second is the data entry errors. This is what we have. Godo and bad A is written. Second is redundant white spaces. White spaces tend to be hard to detect but causes error like other redundant characters would. Because see, most of the people are having one habit. They type the name and give a space. What's the logic in that? I don't know. Because at the end we will not require a space. If we compare, as I told, space hello and hello space or only hello, they are completely different. So who hasn't lost in few days in project because of bug that was caused white spaces at the end of the string? Most of the time we give white spaces there, having ability, and I have seen that practically also. Students used to give white space and then tell sir it's not working. I will done exactly as per you, because when you print space, it will not show anything in the output. If I print hello and if I print hello space, result will be same in the output. You cannot check it. But you have to say the representation of hello, how it is written in quotes. It's containing a space there. Remember that. That's what the errors are there. Framing is a method. Stripping and framing is the method that we apply to remove these white spaces which are at the start and end of the string. Between are okay, but start and end is important to remove. We can ask the program to join two keys and notice that observations are missing from the output file. Yes, after looking at the day's work code, you can finally find a bug. Then come to the hardest part, explain the delay to the project stakeholders, claiming during ATL phase wasn't well executed. And keys in one table contain a white space at the end of a string. Let's see, I'll just show you. It was a problem, actually, real-time situation that we can have, and that will occur. See this one. Okay, many processes are running here, taking time to open this all. It's open. See. Okay, so let's say the result hello, print A1 and print A2. Can you interpret the change between these two? Not exactly. Printing A1, printing A2 are okay, correct? Yes, it's very fine. But if I compare them, A1 is equal to A2 false. How it is possible? Because there's a space present in between. This is the error actually. Then most of us are having this kind of habit to work with that. So what I will do, so A2 dot strip. Yeah, it's true now. Check it. Stripping, this is what error we can remove for that, and most of the time it occurs. Not only I'm talking about single name, but in the data set also will be having the spaces given at the start and end of the string. That may lead to false results. Okay, so this is what we require. The hardest part, clean delay in process stakeholders. They didn't find the error actually why it's happening like that, and because of the spaces which are present, we got the errors generated. White space was present at the end of the string. In key, it was present. See, like for example, someone has created something like that. It's a practical application actually. For example, let's say x is equal to. I'm creating a dictionary here. If you know the dictionary, like x is this value and y is this value, so we can x of x dictionary. Okay, this is what x position is present here, the key, this is key and this is the value. I want to extract that, so I can use x of x, like it's okay. But if I do x of y, why? Because there's a space after y, it's written there. This happens multiple number of time in the data analytic operation also. So to remove that, we need to use the concept of strip. So let's have not that. There you have to use the strip. It's not directly possible. Okay. So impossible values are sanity check. Let's go for the third. Impossible values may be present in the data set. That's what we have to remove with the help of sanity check. Sanitization. We are very familiar with that. So here also data sanitization is there that we can work with. Sanity checks are another valuable type of data checks. Here we check the value against physically or theoretically impossible value, such as people taller than 3 meter or somewhere someone is having age of 299 years. So sanity checks can be directly expressed with the rules, something like this. Check it out, where age is between 0 and 120. Check. Minimum age should be 0, maximum age should be 120 only. Like that. In that way, we can apply it. See, in programming also, if you just think about it, how can I perform operations with this? Like, for example, I'm having a data, something like X or ages, age is equal to, just taken 56, 34, 90. Okay, so these are the ages. So one age, we can see it's something impossible value there, 190 age. You know the world record? I don't know world record, but maybe 190 is not possible. But we can apply some methods to perform operations with them. Like for example, if I want to apply, like say x is equal to, let's filter it. Okay, file filter. Uh, let's say lambda of x is, let's say 100 is the threshold value. 100 is the threshold value. Okay, like this, and let's print, sorry, just of x. So this is my I have applied. This is my condition I applied, like lambda function. If you know Python, so maybe knowing this lambda function. With the help of that, I can apply filtering criteria. Like if the ages are less than 100, then only take them. This is what the sanity check is done. Sanity check. Impossible value. You know that range is within it, so apply that and extract it. Let's see, for example, some temperatures are given. Temperature values are taken over there. Out of it, some temperature like 25, 27, 17, 28, 36, 30, 26. Okay, these are the temperature values, and you know that temperature of this particular area is actually minimum 5 degree and maximum is in 40 degree. Okay, always, every time, but you can see some wrong values are interpreted and presented in between it. Okay, so to do this one, we'll just make use of another method. Like for example, here I'll apply filter of x, and from temperature I'll take it. This sanity check, it's possible. Okay, so I'll apply a filter where x is less than, let's say 40. Okay, and x is greater than 5. Okay, see this. So which are greater than 5 and less than 40, only these values are taken. So these are the ideal numbers which are taken. So sanity checks, and exactly, even replacement is also possible. You can replace that value also. That's the secondary part. Programming can be used to replace these values. If this value is above it, then you have to trim to this highest or lowest value presented there. This is what we call as the sanity checks that we can apply. Let's go for the another method called as outliers. Outlier is an observation that seems to be distant from the other observations, or more specifically, one observation that follows a different logic or generative process than the other observations. The easiest way to find outlier is to use a plot or a table with minimum and maximum values. With minimum and maximum values only. The plot on the top shows no outliers, where the plot on the bottom shows possible outliers on the upper side. Let's see, I'll show you that one. Where the normal distribution is expected. The normal distribution or Gaussian distribution is the most common distribution in natural sciences. Check it out. This is expected distribution of the data. Common normal distribution that we call. Okay, so this graph we call as a histogram, which we use to check the outliers. Okay, or we check this one, distribution with outliers. Check out the outliers. They are maximum distribution lying here, and these are the two outliers which are presented here. Why to detect outlier? Because outlier cannot create the perfect model from the data. That's why outlier detection is very important to know. Let me show you that one also. See, for example, if I'm having some data with me, x is equal to 56. Okay, like this. Okay, or let's take multiple entries of such kind. Okay, like this, I have a data presented with me. X is equal to some number of elements are presented there, and I want to find the outliers. Okay, outliers which are when actually building the model. These are not impossible values. That are okay. Values can be okay. Impossible values are not there, but some exceptions are there. Like I just told about the marks of student. Every student has got marks of 50 to 70, and one student has got 90. That 90 is outlier. Possibility is there, but that is outlier, and it may not generate the model create perfectly. Exceptions are required to be considered. Now, what are the methods to check the outlier? Let me show you. See. So here I'm importing one package in Python. In visualization, third third practical, we are having that. Last unit also we'll see it again. Let's see. So we just have to plot this x. Yeah, wait a minute. Two parameters are required. I'm using only one parameter there. Or if instead of that, I need to use another. Yes, one more parameter is required there. Yeah, see this one. So two elements are there. This is outliers. They are far away from the crowd. You can see this is what scatter plot is showing. Here one element and here one element is there. A graph scatter plot which I have plotted here. With the help of that we can see this. Group is here and few elements are presented here. They are the outliers. Or I can just distribution is shown there. Distribution. Okay, so distribution also I can use. Just say all elements are there in 0 to 200 range, and two are there. Here one is 600, one after 800. Outlier. So where the maximum distribution is here at the front part of it. Okay, the first part. So distribution we can easily check, and you can see the difference in all. So these two are the outliers which are far away from the original distribution that we can see. Even there is one more method. Box plot. See, these are the actual distribution is there, and one is here, one is here. These two are the outliers. So model building will have the trouble, will have the problem, will have the errors when such kind of elements are present which are not following the properties of crowd. That's why these are the outliers. So many methods that we can choose to detect and remove the outlier. So this is what expected distribution is there, but distribution with outlier is something like this. We are having some values above 4. So we can apply the trimming criteria, filtering criteria, and based on that we remove it and then we'll generate the result as per our expectations there. Okay, that's how outliers are created. Let's talk about another data preparation steps called as dealing with the missing values. Missing values are not necessarily wrong, but you still need to handle them separately. Certain modeling techniques can't handle the missing values. Okay, so modeling technique is machine learning algorithm also. If you are performing some numerical statistical operation on the data, so if the value is missing, then how it is possible to work on that? It will show that not available values are there. If you consider about Python contains this concept as nan, nan values are there, and in R we have this concept as na. Okay, we concept that concept as na. Let's see, I'll just show you. For example, wait a minute. This is Python. Here, I'll open the R's terminal. So this is R terminal. This is Python terminal. This is R terminal. Like, for example, if I write something x is equal to some vector, some array I just want to create, so I can use this way. Okay. And I want to find the mean of all. So this is mean. Okay. Average of all the elements. I can find by this particular method. I can check it out. But if the array is something missing values, the missing values are termed as NAs. NA is not available. In R, they are NA, and in Python, they are NAN, not a number, something like they are written there. NAN are written in Python, and in R, they are written as NA. Now, if I find the mean of them, what is mean? NA. So error value is missing, and if you perform any operation onto it, like I want to find sum of all numbers, maximum of these numbers, or minimum of this number, all are NAs. Why? Because one value is missing there. That's why we got this particular result created. And if I want to plot it, so there's a function called as plot in R that I can use to plot it. You can see plotted. That NA is not plotted actually. This is the plot, R programming language plot that we can use with this. Okay, so in Python and R concepts are common, but data syntax is different. But data processing, preparation, retrieval, they are common everywhere. That's steps you need to consider over here. So missing values will interpret the result wrongly. Okay, that's why it's important. So how to handle the missing values? Many ways are there which we have to perform to handle the missing values. First way is to delete the values directly, delete that column or delete that row directly to remove that. We'll see the things practically when you see the first program again, how to handle the missing values. First technique, that we have to remove the complete row if a table is containing missing values. So that will not generate the data correctly. Perfect result will not be generated. So we have to remove that row completely. Remove that row. Okay, let me show you that one. So how it will generate the result. Say this. So let's see the things practically. So we'll understand the concept more properly. Yeah. Let's say I'm having a data set, something like this. Yeah, this one. It's a student information is there present in it, and what will happen? See, these missing values are there. Check this. We have some missing values present in here in class and in marks also, age also. Okay, correct. Now I'll go to read this file first in pandas Python. See this. Just a minute. You can observe this file I have read using Python programming language, and you can see this is nan. Nan, not a number is coming here. Nan, not a number. And if you're going to check, do the same operation in R, show in R, same function, almost similar functions are there. Uh, just student. Oh. See, here it is NA. In R, it is showing NA. In Python, it is showing NAN. Okay, so same kind of things are there. But if you calculate here, for example, I want to calculate the average of the marks. Okay, average of the marks. It will show the result, but result will be average of 8 students only. Like the mean of TF dot marks. Okay, sorry. Mean is there in NP function. Just say sum. So addition of all these marks is nan here. See, sum of df dot marks. So df and this marks column is this. I want to do addition, summation of all these numbers. So it's showing nan, not a number. And if you want to do the same operation in R, so this is Python. Now just for the R. So sum, same function. But here I'm using different dollar symbol, which is used to extract the columns. Dollar marks. NA. Correct. This is the effect of missing values in data analysis. So when these missing values are there, so what the operation is present there, we can remove these missing values. So wherever the columns are present, where the rows are missing values, so we can directly remove them. This is the first option that we choose generally. Clean. So wherever the missing values are there, I've dropped all the rows, and then if I want to perform operations of it, sorry, the NDFN. See, this is the sum of all the marks after deleting the rows, because they contain missing values. It is of no use, so directly delete them. That's how the deleting operations is there, that we can work on it, and accordingly, you can perform. So we will lose the information from an observation. Disadvantage, advantage, easy to perform. You directly apply the function, we'll get to know about it. That's what possible is there. Second, set this value to null. Set this value to null. But it is of no use. Not every value technique is having implementation that can handle the null values. It's not possible to handle the null values for everyone. So setting the null will create more problems. Null means maybe null that we can set instead of that values presented there. In Python also, in R also it is possible. In Python we call it as null in small case, just mentioned over here, and in R it is null completely in uppercase. It's same exactly written like that. The uppercase is there. Okay, that's what second technique that we can have. Third technique, impute the static values such as 0 or the mean. Yes, mean is good. Mean is okay, but 0 is not okay. Means, for example, if I want to perform this operation here, it's Python. So df dot fill na I can make use of, and df dot marks. So see this one. So sorry, in this way. So wherever the nan values are there, I can fill 0. See, put 0 there where the nan is. But is it okay? Not actually. 0 is not a possibility of having a marks. Universal constant that we use. But instead of that, I can put something. Just remember that here on third, I'm having 0, and on 7 also I'm having 0. 0 is not a possibility of having the marks. Remember, so instead of that, I can put something like mean. Okay, the mean of the data that we can find over here, and accordingly we can perform the operation. So just a minute. Okay, let's continue. Fine. So I can write a mean of the remaining values can be put instead of it, or we can write a zero directly. So this operation is easy to perform. You don't lose information from other variables in the observation, but it can lead false estimate from a model also. See that one? Just check it out. So instead of this zero, I can have the mean of remaining values also. So let's say df of marks dot mean. See. You can observe now these two values are replaced 63.33, here 63.33. The values are replaced and they are saved instead of the missing values here, number 3 and number 7. You can check now, data is perfectly clean. Even mean, or we can have median. See, middle most element, this one 60.405, 60.405. They are posted, and then we can save the complete column again in the df of marks here by this particular method. Data can be cleaned. So one of the good method by which you can apply the cleaning operations over here. And there's one more method called as mode. Mode means when the value is categorical. Now you can see there are no categories present here. Categorical. That time we can use a mode. Most frequent value can be saved there. Third is impute a value from a estimated or theoretical distribution. Okay, where we apply the machine learning algorithms. It does not disturb the model as much, but hard to execute. You have to make the data assumption. You have to check the pattern in the data, what was present previously, what is present after, and accordingly you can predict the value in between. That's what possible with the help of this method. And then the fourth one, for this we have to understand the data modeling techniques. Okay. Then the fifth one, model the value that is non-independent. Okay, non-independent. Directly we just can predict. We can check the pattern in that column only and predict the value accordingly. Here also we need to understand the concept of machine learning algorithms, and with the ML algorithms only we can predict the result. Here you can lead too much confidence in the model. That's what is possible. Okay, it can artificially raise dependence among the variables also, but harder to execute. You make data assumptions, and based on that, predictions of that data is possible. So data modeling, machine learning techniques, algorithms should be known to understand the last concept. But generally, the concept of replacing the values with mean, median, or mode is preferable. Even one more technique that we use in Python, like padding and backfilling. Padding means next value you have to keep, and backfilling means previous value you have to keep instead of the missing value. That also one of the methods, few of the methods which are commonly used to handle the missing values here. Now, the next one is deviation from the code book. Detecting errors in large data set against a code book, against standardized values, can be done with the help of set operations. Code book is a description of your data, a form of a metadata that we can metadata, data about data, describing about the data. It contains the things such as number of variables per observations, number of observations, and what each encoding within a variable means. Yes, that is coded books are present there. Like instead of string values, we provide the numbers. Okay, we provide the numbers. Like 0 to 1 scaling is given. 0 means lowest, somewhat higher, then middle, then highest, and then most highest, ultra high, like something like that we can have. Okay, this is an example mentioned here. For instance, 0 equals negative, 5 stands for very positive. A code book also tells the type of data you're looking at, like hierarchical graph, something or something else like. So when you extract that information from the code book, it will create the errors. Like for example, if your marks are above 60, marks are above 60, fine. But all above 60s are getting A grade. Whether you got 100% marks or you got 60% marks, you got A grade. Okay, but there's a huge difference. We are having a difference of 40, 60 to 100, but you're getting the same grade presented there. So, but if I want the continuous data in that case, instead of grade A, so misinterpretation will be there. You can convert 60 into A, but you can't convert A into 60. Why? Because you don't know what the values carries. 60 you can convert, 70 convert, 80 can convert, 85 can be converted, 100 can be converted, but restructuring is not possible. Okay, Okay, inverse operation not possible. That's what errors will be there if you are having such kind of, and this is called, we call it encoding actually. The encoding method generally we prefer, and encoding can misinterpret the result. That is my experience also. When you encode the data, I want to, my name is Tushar, I want to convert it into format like 5, and your name is 6. So mathematically 6 is greater than 5, but can you compare two persons by their name? Not possible. That is what interpretation is there by encoding method. Next one is error because of different unit of measurement. When integrating two data set, you have to pay attention to their respective unit of measurement. This is very commonly occurred error also. So example would be when you study the prices of gasoline in the world. So to do this one, you have to gather data from different data providers. Okay, some data set contain prices per gallon. Some data set contains prices per liter. How to do? Not only that, the distance also same problem is there. Somewhere you find a distance in miles, somewhere you find in kilometers. Temperature, we find in Celsius, we find in Fahrenheit. Okay. Everywhere the measurement is different. Hertz that you measure anywhere, measurement will be different. If the measurement is different and when you combine them, then error will occur. Will completely different units will be present. Some marks are there in CGPA, some marks are there in percentage format. Then how can I collaborate them together? Okay. So we need to perform some operation like formulas can be applied, and with the help of formulas, I can perform operations of making it better. Like for example, you just say, okay, I'm having a X here, and I want to, sorry, it's entering NA. Let's say, for example, I'm having something like this. Okay, 8. Okay, and for every element, I just want to apply same kind of operation. Like I want to multiply 1 by 4. So you can check it for all the data set. Same number is multiplied, and I got the result in the floating point format there. So I have converted that data by applying my formula to it. My formula is that they are 1.4 times than the original. Let's just say like kilometers and miles, 1.6 times. So you can have 1.6 here. So from miles to kilometers, that will be converted. So 4 miles is 6.4 kilometers. 5 miles is 8 kilometers. 7 miles is 12.2 kilometers. Like directly applying the conversion. So this is general idea of applying a formula is possible. We can convert it, and then we can use this converted data here in it. For example, price is given in dollars, and I want to require in rupees. I require that in rupees, so I used to apply the formula. You have to check the current value of dollars for rupees. After that, only conversion is possible, and we can convert. Okay, you can use it. So their error may also occur. How it is possible? Don't worry about it. We may have this kind of errors in the code. The next one is having, last one, having the different level of aggregation. Having a different level of aggregation is similar to having a different type of measurement. An example of this would be a data set containing data per week versus one containing data per work week. We measure differently. Week and work week. Week means 7 days, work week means 6 days or 5 days, maybe possible, anything. So data containing for 7 days, data containing for 5 days will be obviously different. Different level of aggregation that day, their measurement is different. Your efficiency you calculate. Okay, we generally used to pay. We ask for the salary per month, but company is giving you per annum. Okay, salary is okay, that's fine. But aggregation level is different. That's they follow aggregate. You combine, you aggregate it. It's a different method. So this type of error is generally easy to detect, and summarizing like or inversing expanding data set will fix it. After cleaning the data errors, you combine information from different data sources, but therefore we tackle this topic will take a little detour and stress importance cleaning data as early as possible with practical applications. We'll see the things practically also. Let's go for correcting the errors. A good practice is to mediate data errors as early as possible in the data collection chain and to fix as little as possible inside your program while fixing the original of the problem. Why that error is occurred? What's the reason? So that reason is very important to understand. So once you understand, identify the reason, so a cleaned data can be directly available with your project or your program rather than performing operation laterwards. Make the data source clean itself. Filtering the data is difficult task, and organizations spend millions of dollars on it in the hope of making better decisions. Yes. Data analyst, actually, two works profile are there in company. We generally use data analyst and data scientist. So data analyst tasks are this, whatever we have seen. A data scientist actually works on modeling of data and presentation of it, or making a decision making of it. Analyst focuses on all these pre-processing technique that he has to look for while using actual real world data in practical. Data collection process is error prone, and in big organization involves many steps and team. Team is team of a data analyst are present who are working on these errors or this kind of data pre-processing, data transformation, preparation, operation, and accordingly that they will define the steps to remove or to correct the errors which are present in the data set. Then only the data can be easily available and used by the models or data scientists, and according to the data models can be created. Predictive analytics can also be performed with that. So data should be cleaned when required for many reasons. Okay, many reasons are, I just mentioned, so 5 reasons are there. Not everyone spot the data anomalies, not possible there. So decision makers may make costly mistakes on information based on incorrect data from application that failed to correct the faulty data. That's also possible there. If errors are not corrected early on in the process, the cleaning will have to be done for every project that uses the data. Yes, this is disadvantage actually. Data is used by every 5 projects are using the data, and every 5 project they are wasting a time to pre-process the data, to clean it, prepare it. Makes no sense basically. Data errors may point to a business process that is not working as designed. For instance, both authors work at retailer in the past and they design couponing system to attract more people to make higher benefit. There is high profit. That's also maybe there. Data errors may point to defective equipment such as broken transmission lines and defective sensors. Yes, that also remember. Sensors is defective and it's collecting a data, and after that you modifying it. So better way, modify the sensor, replace the sensor. That's also very difficult to identify. In some cases, we can just find that a data is coming, but see, for example, temperature is actually 25 degree and it's giving 22 degree. 3 degree difference, it's not that much. Actually, difference is not that much. It is creating high impact on the project. So sensor defective. So just can replace the defective sensors, and accordingly data can be collected easily. And data errors can point to bug in the software or in integration of software that may be critical to the company. Software errors, software collection errors, method, mechanism that we use. For example, you choose Java programming language. You have chosen Java programming language, and to store the data integer fashion, you have used integer data type. You know that integer data type contains 32-bit in Java. If the data entry which is done in that in Java, it's above 32-bit, then the number will not be stored correctly. It will just round it up to some negative number. Then what to do? Remember, software error, programming language not supporting that. So we have to choose a language, programming language like Python or R, which is having the high ranges of information can be stored. All data. For example, I want to access perform operation with the data with other languages. So I'm using English. I want the data from the Marathi language. So how it's possible? Unicode system should be supported. If data is coming in other language and you are having support of only English language, so error will be generated. Then who is responsible for that? Problems are there. Solution should be already present, correcting the errors, that methodology that we need to follow so much clearly while preparing the data for any kind of data science project. Okay, one more step is there, combining data, but we'll see this step in tomorrow's session. We'll continue this particular session tomorrow also. Okay, so we'll stop it. If I have any doubts or questions, so let's go there step by step. Just a minute, I got some questions in the chat box also. The first question is there any way to check reliability of all the data set available in this repository if in case we are using at company level? One more thing, don't use it at company level because they are only used for basic operation, for practice. Remember, they are only used for the practice. Remember, So only for practice, once you're familiar with that, because they're authorized, they are given by some authenticated sources. Remember, and many data sets are very old. For example, if you are checking the data set of breast cancer analysis, it was donated by 25 years ago. It's available there. So at company level, don't use it. At company level, we have to create your mechanism to collect the data and use the data effectively in your system. Remember, at company level, this is required. This is necessary. Okay, so make sure that company level data should be created by yourself. Proper mechanism should be presented. Available repository only you can use for basic operation. And one more question I got: open data is available to all. That's the check in itself. Okay, obviously, Kaggle data is not actually authorized much, because anyone can. It's a public repository, so anyone can upload it, anyone can download it, and anyone can modify that also. That's why they are used only for our practice purpose, our understanding purpose. But if you go beyond that, if you want to work on a big research project, so try to collect data by your own. A research paper that you find on IEEE site, you can check for data science projects on IEEE, might be knowing. So there also lot many researchers have created their own data sets by some mechanism, by some sensor that they have created, and after that they are applying the algorithms onto it, and then generating the efficient result, and then evaluating it, then using for prediction. Like, better sources to use it. The repositories which I have shown, they are just for practice. But if you're using the dataset like Quicksheet, authenticated, that's already defined data, which is very commonly available. IMDb dataset, authenticated, you can directly use it. But dataset which are present in public repositories like Kaggle, UCI, they are not. They are used for only practice purpose. Once you practice it, then you define your own dataset and then go ahead with that. Only practice is required. You are already having many subjects in data science stream, so if you want to work better in data science, so knowledge of all the subjects are required. So once you got idea about all the subject practically, we'll get a clear idea how data science field actually works, what's the scope of that in future also. So apart from that, if you have any doubts or questions, so you can ask. Okay, fine, maybe not. I just want to know what's the time of your lecture, means 3:30 or 3:20. Yes, anyone?
सर इट्स फ्रॉम
What's the
3:20 to
timing of your lecture?
4:20 एक ही घंटे के लिए
हाँ,
लेक्चर रहता है
okay.
हाँ
3:20
फ्रॉम
to
मंडे टू
4:20.
फ्राइडे
Actually, okay. 20 to 4. No, actually, it was told to take 2 hours lecture from 3:30 to 5:30. So maybe our lectures will be there from 3:30 to 5:30 every day. So just note it down, because we have to complete the syllabus as early as possible. Many hours are required, practical point of view, theoretical point of view also. Fine. Thank you.
ओके सर
We'll close this session.